Hi everyone and welcome to this video. This is the third video in my little mini series on writing an analytical paragraph about an inspector calls. Now today we're going to be looking at the explain and analyse section of our P paragraph, or if you use the what, how, why structure, we're going to be thinking about the how and why section. And in this part of the paragraph, we're really looking at why the evidence supports your argument. How can we explain that through analysis? Now, one of the questions that students always ask me is, what is analysis? What are you actually doing when you're analysing a text? And the first question I'm asking myself when I'm analysing is, what type of language or structure has the writer used? And the second question I'm asking is, why have they used this? Now, let's apply these two questions to an example to show you exactly what I mean. So here's my question. How does Priestley present Sheila as a changing character? We're thinking about how she's infantilized at the start of the play, and our quotation is, "Oh, it's wonderful, look mummy, isn't it a beauty?" Now it's that quotation that we're going to be analysing in a minute. And this is what we've written so far in terms of our paragraph. Now, if you haven't watched the first two videos in this series, stop this one now and go back and watch the other two. Otherwise, this is not going to make a huge amount of sense to you. Okay, so over to you. What I want you to do is pause the video, write down the quotation, and then note down what types of language or structure you notice in this particular quotation. Don't stress about getting the right words, the right terminology for this. If you notice the word wonderful, then note that down. Okay, so pause the video, copy the quotation down, and then join the video again when you're ready. Right, so what I've noticed about this quotation then is quite a lot of things actually. So the first thing that strikes me is all of the dashes. We've got 3 dashes breaking this quotation up. I also notice the word wonderful. This is interesting because Sheila could have said, oh, it's all right. Like, thanks for the ring. It's only, as expected. Or, it's average. But what she says is wonderful. So that adjective really sticks out at me. I also notice that she uses the word mummy. Sheila's in her 20s, so it seems quite childish for her to use that. And then I notice that she used a question at the end. Okay, so that's me kind of just reading through, thinking what types of language or structure has the writer used. Focusing in on these 3 sections then, what I want you to do now is pause the video again and think, right, why has the writer used these 3 things? Why has the writer used the adjective wonderful? Why didn't Priestley say, oh, the ring is average, or, oh, the ring is pretty shocking, actually, not what I expected. So why has he chosen the word wonderful? Why does Sheila say mummy instead of mother? And why does she ask the question, isn't it a beauty? So jot down your thoughts about that and then start the video again when you're ready. Welcome back. So we're starting with the adjective wonderful. Now this reveals Sheila's delight at becoming engaged. It also highlights her materialism, particularly as the engagement is her stepping stone to wealth. She has secured this marriage to Gerald, so she's moving up the social hierarchy. Then the question shows Sheila's childishness, her need for parental support. She doesn't, say thank you, Gerald. What she does is she turns to her mum and asks her mum for confirmation that she's made the right choice. And that's amplified by the name mummy. So instead of saying mum or mother, she says something that really reveals her childishness. And she behaves in this childish way because she's been infantilized by her parents, because she's been sheltered from the harsh realities of the world. Right, as we start to put this together then into our paragraph, here's some sentence starters that you might find useful. Now, a word of warning with sentence starters: don't stick to them slavishly. You do not need to use every single one in every single paragraph, and there are lots and lots of other options for sentence starters that you might use. These are prompts to help you if you're not sure where to go with your paragraph, or you're not sure what to write next. Okay, so they're only prompts. It is not something to use slavishly. And here is what I have done with my paragraph then. So I've color coded each sentence so we can focus in on each one separately so I can explain them to you. The one in yellow then, so at first glance. Now, at first glance, ostensibly, on the surface, those kind of sentence starters help us to explain the surface level of the quotation. So at first glance, this quotation reveals Sheila's childish engagement at becoming engaged to Gerald. Sorry, Sheila's childish excitement at becoming engaged to Gerald. So I'm just explaining that surface level of the quotation at this point. What does it actually mean? Then, in my green sentence, I'm delving deeper. I'm starting to peel back the layers of the language and think, right, what language has the writer chosen and why has he chosen that? So this is my analysis section. So, however, on closer inspection. So that sentence starter on closer inspection is showing that I'm delving deep into the language. So on closer inspection, the question and the childish language of mummy also suggests Sheila's lack of self-confidence, as she needs to turn to her mother for confirmation that she's made the right choice of husband. Now, what you'll notice in that sentence is that I've kind of done the two things that I was saying I was doing when I was analysing. I've identified the type of language, so the question and the childish language, and then I'm explaining why the writer has used that. Then my blue sentence, this sense of Sheila's infantilization is amplified. That's a nice sentence starter if you want to build your ideas, if you want to continue on a particular line of thought. So this sense of Sheila's infantilization is amplified by her materialism, as the word beauty and the adjective wonderful emphasize her delight in expensive items. What you'll notice is every time I'm identifying what type of language the writer has used, I'm also explaining why he's done it. So the adjective wonderful in my blue sentence emphasizes her delight at expensive items. I'm not just saying it's an adjective, tick, job done, let's move on. I'm explaining why that's being used. And then my final sentence in pink, Priestley is pointing out that Sheila has been raised to be blind to the harsh reality of life outside the suburban family home, and that this has caused her to focus on pleasing her parents and securing her own position in the social hierarchy. Okay, so what you need to do to get your head around this is lots and lots and lots of practice. So my suggestion now is that you stop the video, that you use the next quotation, which is on the screen here. When Sheila stands up to Mr. Bowling, she says, "These girls aren't cheap labour, they're people," and that you annotate the quotation as we did in the video, and then you write up your analysis using these sentence starters. Okay, good luck everyone.